Brief, so today's meeting, well, actually, we'll call to order.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Here.
Commissioner Ludlow,
Here.
Commissioner Maloney is excused, Commissioner Peterson, Commissioner Fournier. Here. Commissioner Francisco,
Here.
Commissioner Konashevsky is excused, and Commissioner Kozlowski.
Here. We will say the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so I'd look for a motion to adopt today's agenda.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. Motion by Commissioner here and second by Commissioner Ludlow. Any questions or any other things to add or not? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion passed. We have a public comment. Jesse, do you know how to use the 3-minute timer yet?
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll officially start using
We
it
have a
tomorrow.
new timer, so we're gonna, so that way anyone that does public comment, and I know there's only a couple here, but I'm so excited that we're gonna have this, that I don't have to keep track of it.
All right, I thought I did a fine job.
Well, I'm not- I don't want At least the general public will be able to watch as well.
Understand, Chairman.
Okay, so just public comment, if anyone has a public comment, then 3 minutes.
Hello, my name is Michael Kramer. I live at 226 Fair Avenue. And I'm just here to address an opportunity that we have for leadership in the county. This financial problem that we faced is the tip of the iceberg. The country's in for a real rough ride here over the next probably 10 years with the destruction of the dollar as the international trade item. That's coming, even though people want to deny it. It's going to materially affect our country's finances in a huge way. The fact that this has gone sort of haywire in this county is a precursor to that. People are going to suffer big time, and it's better that the county get ahead of this and show leadership in cutting all the fat out of this budget now, because it's going to need to be cut out immediately coming. And I mean, everything. So I just wanted to say that, and I think it's a great opportunity for leadership, and I know you guys are up to it. Thank you very much.
Anybody else for public comment? Anybody on Zoom want to do public comment? No. Okay, all right, we'll close public comment. So we'll start by we're here. Jesse, do you want
Yeah, so on Tuesday, August 6th, voters, as you all know, voted down the new separate tax limitation proposal, 4,070 to 3,882. That's a difference of 188. So essentially 95 votes cost the county the millage. It was my experience and those department heads who I spoke with who took calls and other communications from individuals seeking additional information on the ballot language, that the two biggest hurdles that we had were one, how the measure was written. They found it complicated. They asked for it to be simplified. And most individuals, after a short conversation to kind of explain it, seemed supportive. The second item was the lack of a cap on the language, the way they read it, because it was indefinite. This would just keep going, even though it was technically tied to a property tax, which doesn't expire either. It was as these conversations were brought to us weeks ago, we started looking around for what we would do if we had to put it on the ballot again this fall. And we found that Isabella County actually had posted a similar proposal, and that their language was clear and included a 4-year cap. So we, learning from the conversations we had with individuals who contacted the offices, went ahead and are putting forth before if you choose to place a tax limitation committee, putting forth before them language that includes, again, a simpler version and a cap. We have until tomorrow at 4 p.m. to submit that language to the county clerk for placement on November's ballot. Although local media and some others kind of see this as hastily put together, it really isn't. Following, you can't do much until after Election Day. And then it takes a couple days to put the language together. But with how we have things set up, we should be able to meet that deadline and give voters, again, a clear version with a cap, which is what they requested consideration in November. Although the board will move ahead with developing a budget lacking the funds that this would have brought in. Adjustments can always be made later on if this does pass. And then my other, I'm sorry, that's all I have.
Is that it?
Yes, sir.
I'll agree with what Jesse said, because I did have people reach out to me. And I think that, and again, that wasn't us that came up with that language. That was the lawyer that came up with that. And coincidentally, right after we came up with that language, I think, Ted, you had mentioned to me that you saw that Isabella County proposal millage, which was definitely by far more, a lot more clearer in the language. But the key things that I took away from the people that kind of reached out to me were the individuals had a serious concern with the not having a cap, which in a sense, it still is capped because it wasn't, and I tried to explain that to the people that because it said it wasn't capped, it still is capped by Headley, and any decreases that would impact would be impacted by Headley would still decrease that over time. And it wasn't that we could automatically just roll it up. I believe so. Anyway, we definitely have with this language, new language, it is definitely way more clear. On here, I know it says something about adopt the resolution. So I have the resolution that we had from back in April, May. Is that basically that resolution still in effect? Do we have to?
No, that resolution expired, so this would be a new.
Well, the resolution that I have is basically the property tax, or does it have to actually have the language in there?
Yeah. And I'm sorry, just so you know, we do have legal counsel on Zoom as well, Mr. Perron. So if you have any questions, he may be able to answer it further, but he reviewed everything and gave us the green light.
Okay, so what is the actual resolution that we have in front of us?
This is to pass the placement of a separate tax limitation committee.
Okay, and that
And
is the same.
once you pass this and we adjourn, then that committee will meet at noon today. To then go through and
Yeah, this resolution is pretty much the same thing that I had from back in.
right, I'm sorry, I thought you were asking whether or not the previous resolution still carried, so
No, this language in this resolution.
correct, yes, sir. Yep, sorry.
And because I was going to touch on the fact that what the committee, the tax limitation committee is proposed of, it's treasurer, the chairperson of the finance ways and means, individual from the intermediate school district, the superintendent or his representative, a resident from a municipality within the county that would be selected by the probate judge, member not officially connected with or employed with the local county, appointed by the Board of Commissioners, and then a member who shall be the township supervisor and selected by the majority of the township supervisors.
So I believe the resolutions need to be read so that they're actually on record.
Okay.
If you'd like, I can read through them.
Sure.
2024 Alpena County Board of Commissioners resolution to alter the fixed separate tax limitations and to create a county advisory tax limitation committee. Whereas the Property Tax Limitation Act being Public Act 62 of 1933, MCL 211.201 et seq. Public Act 62 allow for separate tax limitations, and whereas the Alpena County voters approved such approved such a separate tax limitation in 1976, and whereas the three separate millage limitations have been substantially reduced by the state rollback provisions from the levels approved by Alpena County voters on August 3rd, 1976, and whereas Board of Commissioners has the authority to initiate a review and vote of the electorate as to the appropriateness of altering the current fixed millage limitations pursuant to Section 5K of Public Act 62, being MCL 211.205K. And whereas that upon resolving to alter the fixed millage limitations, Board of Commissioners is to then notify persons and bodies having appointed powers under Public Act 62 of the resolution, so that a county advisory tax limitation committee can be created to review and provide a recommendation as to the county fixed millage limitations. Therefore, be it resolved That the Alpena County Board of Commissioners resolve to initiate the statutory procedures to consider altering the existing Alpena County fixed mill separate tax limitations of the county and townships and the intermediate school district in the county. Be it further resolved that Alpena County Advisory Tax Limitation Committee shall be created composed of the following. A, the county treasurer. B, the chairperson of the Ways and Means Committee of the County Board of Commissioners. C, the intermediate school district superintendent or his representative. D, a resident of a municipality within the county having more than a population of 10,000 who shall be selected by the probate judge of the county. E, a member not officially connected with or employed by any local or county unit who shall be selected by the Board of County Commissioners. F, a member who shall be a township supervisor and who shall be selected by a majority of the township supervisors in the county. Be it further resolved that as required by statute, the County Advisory Tax Limitation Committee shall meet within 10 days of its selection and shall prepare separate tax limitations for the county and the townships and the intermediate school district in the county, aggregating not more than 7.02 mils that the majority of the committee considers will provide for the financial needs of the county, townships, and the intermediate school district. Be it further resolved that the separate tax limitation shall be promptly transmitted to the County Board of Commissioners and the functions of the County Advisory Tax Limitation Committee shall then cease. Be it further resolved that the Alpena County Board of Commissioners will then propose a resolution submitting the question of adopting the separate tax limitation prepared by the County Advisory Tax Limitation Committee to vote of the registered and qualified electors of Alpena County. We're going and then basically ends with yeas, nays, absences, certification.
Okay.
I have a question before we vote on this. How much is this gonna raise in dollars?
This would be the equivalent of the last time, Ted.
Yeah. Nothing 800 on it.
Roughly
30. What is our projected deficit?
1.4 at this time.
For this year,
Where's the rest of the money gonna come?
for this year.
I don't want to put this out and thinking that that's gonna resolve the problem here in the county because it's not gonna be enough money.
No.
So I don't know what we're gonna do. There's no sense in putting this out, telling the people this is gonna resolve our problem because it's not.
No, and I don't think we're saying that this is going to resolve the problem, but at least it helps us with the initial, and again, the resolution is for the 4 years. The millage is for the 4 years. This is the resolution. And do we have to, because we've already approved this resolution.
This is a new tax
This is a
limitation
new one.
committee.
So when you approved this resolution back the 1st of May, end of April, this is a resolution to create the tax advisory board.
Okay.
And it specifically says in the resolution that after that one meeting, you no longer have.
Yeah.
So you have to do this over again to recreate the tax advisory. Board.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that we weren't recreating something that we already had, that we didn't have to. Okay. But to go back to your point is, this is the resolution to create the tax limitation, or not, it won't be the tax limitation. What's it gonna be? Is it gonna be a tax limitation? Yeah, County Advisory Tax Limitation Committee. Again, we're not saying that this will fix the problem, but I think is in the past, the treasurer said, usually we come up with over the.
So right now for 24, we are budgeted to spend $1.4 million and we are budgeted to bring in. Now, historically, since 2019, once we actually get through the year, we are spending roughly between 500 and 800,000 more than what we've brought in since 2019. Now, our 2023 audit showed we spent 900,000 more. So we don't actually need to make up 1.4, but we definitely need to make up $800,000 to $900,000 just to break even with our current budget. So your 25 budget, if you leave all of your expenses exactly the same as you have for 24, and you leave all of your revenues exactly the same, you are going to use another, might as well say $1 million of your fund balance. So you're going to use that for 24 and you're going to use that for 25, which means we only have a $3 million fund balance left.
So by not doing anything, we're in a worse situation than if we don't.
Yeah.
We need to at least try this. I know that I've been talking to Jesse, I've been talking to some of the department heads, and I've said this before that, you know, I don't want to have to cut a bunch of positions, jobs, whatever it may be, and we're already talking about where we can make some of those cuts. I can tell you that in the conversation that I've had recently, you know, my big thing is to try to increase those revenues and a few of the department heads that I've already talked to, that's one of the things that they're trying to work on is find a way of increasing those revenues. You know, the answer is not going to be, we're going to be able to come up with all these revenues because that's not going to be the case. We're still probably going to have to make cuts, and those cuts are going to most likely affect the community if this isn't passed. And again, you know, I'm not telling anybody how they should vote on something. Well, it was a close vote the last time. I think we'll find out after, you know, the next election, if this does get approved, that whether the language was confusing to people and they didn't know which way they were going, how that vote was going to impact the community or impact the county. But I think moving forward, what we planned is looking at areas, either try to find those revenues that we can come up with. And I know that we've already made, at least in the departments that I've been working on, some cuts in those areas. So, you know, we're at the point where obviously, I know Bill has said this a number of times that our biggest area of expense for the county is the people that work for the county. You know, there's not a lot of, and we've been doing this long enough where, you know, how many more paper clips and staples can we cut, Bill, right?
Yeah,
There's nothing left.
Nothing left.
So, and it's gotten to the point where I can't even get a ruler in the commissioner's office. So, but anyway, so again, if we don't, I feel I'm not, you know, I know how I feel about increased taxes, but I know that being on this side, looking at everything as we have over the past 7 years for me, there's not a lot of wiggle room. But anyway, so any other questions with this? Did we actually?
I'll make a motion. Language.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Peterson, support by Commissioner Fournier. Any other discussion?
Yes, I just to make sure we're clear, because I see tasks for today. One is to create the separate tax limitation advisory, tax limitation committee. That's one. But the second one is to review and adopt the language for the ballot that's going to go on the ballot. We have not yet done that, correct?
That'll be,
We'll do that next then. Okay, very well. I just wanted to make sure that we were two separate and distinct,
so this first thing is to
appoint the committee.
appoint adopt the resolution.
Appoint the committee.
Yep,
Yeah, motion to adopt the resolution.
that's the motion. If no other discussion, then actually, can we do roll call?
Sure. Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Ludlow,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Francisco,
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski.
Yes. Okay, motion passed. So now moving on, the language actually for the new millage. Updated now.
So again, we're guided by very narrow guidelines by statute. This is literally lifted out of MCL. So this is the language we can use. Again, the lawyer has approved it. So it does simplify it much easier than last time. Make it much clearer than last time rather. And then it does add the 4-year cap as well.
So you want me to, I can read this. Okay. Said yes, please. Okay. Well, if you're asking, then I don't. Okay, the approval of fixed operational millage shall separate tax limitations be established for a 4-year time period or until altered by the voters of Alpena County for the county of Alpena, townships, and the intermediate school district within the county, the aggregate of which shall not exceed 7.02 mils as follows. County of Alpena, 5.48 mils, townships, 1.29 mils, intermediate school district, 0.25 mils, total 7.02.
So if I may, Mr. Chairman, going to Commissioner LaHaye's point of this 7.202 mils raising 800 and some $1,000. Again, 5.48 is what would come to the general fund of of Alpena County. So it's not $800,000 that would come to us. It would be the amount minus the 1.29 mils for the townships and 0.25 mils for the ISD.
So Ted did work on that or
Okay.
that number. He came up with the number that impact the county.
That's the county operating
Yeah.
portion.
The 800,000 is the
Right,
county.
because every township is different. You can't just say 1.9 for each.
Okay.
So
So, and another point to be made too, because again, that wasn't probably clarified or whatever. They have the option to increase it to this amount.
Oh,
So
They can opt out.
is that right?
They can opt out, right? Each township can.
none of them have to increase it to that. They can increase it less.
Yeah,
This is the top that they would be able
so
to,
they can't go above. And
Levy.
again,
they don't have to do that, just like the county doesn't have to either.
well, and I think the 4-year period makes that, there's a term limit on that. I was gonna say something else. Okay, well, it slipped my mind. But anyway, that's the language. It's pretty clear cut. Very, well, pretty much identical to Isabella, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So need a motion on the language for the millage.
I'll make it.
Okay, so we have a motion by Commissioner Fournier. Support? Anybody? I'll support. Commissioner Ludlow, support. Any discussion? Any other discussion? If not, I would look for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Ludlow,
yes.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier. Yes. Commissioner Francisco,
Yes.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski.
Yes. Okay, and then the last item that we have here, an appointment for an individual to fulfill the obligation set forth in paragraph 7, section E of the resolution, which is member not officially connected with or employed by the local or county unit who shall be selected by the Board of Commissioners. So the last time when I did this, I had 3 individuals. I was trying to actually get the probate judge for appointment. And the probate judge looked or selected one of the other individuals. The individual that I would look to have to add to that committee would be Kevin Ginter. So I would look for a motion to make that selection.
I'll make that motion.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Fournier,
Support.
support by Commissioner Peterson. Any discussion on that? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Hey, motion is passed. Is there any other stuff before we wrap this up? Like, the next meeting should,
I just want the public to know that we are not sugarcoating anything. Our biggest budget is the salaries. And then we're stuck with money that we have to pay out because of former commissioners. For instance, the Amorisco, which is a big one, still have a few years on that yet. And we're not trying to sell you a song and a dance just to get money. That's not how it is. We're very serious. We don't get this money or this millage passed. We're gonna have to make some deep, hard cuts. And that means laying off. And we don't want to do that. We may have no choice. As far as the county commissioners, I will tell you, you think we're making a lot of money? We get $30 per meeting. When I started as a county commissioner 8 years ago, I was getting $30 per meeting. I am still getting $30 per meeting today. I do not any raises. I want the public to know that. Thank you.
hey, anything else? If not, we'll for a motion to adjourn. So
Make that motion.
motion by Commissioner
Hey,
Hey,
how could you forget that face?
I know.
senior moment.
Exactly. I'm getting old, so. So we have a motion by Commissioner
Support.
Hay, support by Commissioner Peterson. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.